tight. We'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. We're here with Mother Jones at Pennsylvania Avenue, AME Zion. Top of the day to you.
Same to you, my dear.
What are you doing today? What's the word?
Well, the word is we're doing something that we should have done about 15 years ago, number one. But since the community has changed, I happen to have been fortunate enough to serve on the Upton Planning Committee, and I was with the group that put this here.
In the beginning?
Yes. Urban Renewal started in 1970 in the Upton Committee.
Wow!
Yeah, Harlem Park was first, the very first in the country, and then Upton was second. I served on the Upton board for 19 and a half years. So all of the development, the 610 units on Pennsylvania Avenue, this is really here because it's an easement. You couldn't build on this because it's not deep enough, if you understand what an easement is. And so then we said that we were not going to allow them to not develop this area between the church's property and private residence. So this is what we got instead. It was beautiful. Everybody used it. When the community was full, everybody used it. The men, even addicts, it didn't make any difference who they were. They had the utmost respect. They had the utmost respect for this area, and we kept it for a long time. So because the community is gone, the houses are boarded up, and our community organization is not giving the amount of attention to this area they should, because the Department of Forestry needs to come and cut these trees, and a lot of other things need to happen. Our church is doing, this property is not ours. This property does not belong to us. But it is our responsibility as a church to do this.
Talk to me, Mother Jones.
Because we're doing this for the future. We plan to redevelop this area. That's the plan of the Zion Development Corporation, our church's plan. So why not start now?
Yes, yes.
Having something for the people to want to live in this community for.
I was just thinking,
a place for your children.
You mentioned the 70s, the 60s, when this community was full. So much has happened since then. A lot of people, because of integration, we can now live in Randallstown, and a lot of us moved on and never came back.
But the serious part of it, their mothers and fathers worked almost like slaves did to pay for these houses, and we had a decent, viable community where everybody was family.
Oh, we wanted to go out Randallstown, Mother Jones.
Well, the thing about it is, their parents left them, a lot of their parents left them this property, but they didn't have enough respect for who we are to understand that they were responsible to keep it up. And so they abandoned it. A lot of them even abandoned the homes that their parents, their mothers and fathers worked very hard.
Sold it or didn't take care of it.
They didn't even bother to sell a lot of them. They just
lost it.
Abandoned them because they cared nothing about, they had no sense of community once they found that they could live where you said, just live. That's what they did. And that's what's happened to the community.
Why do you still do what you do several years later?
Because I know that this community can be revived. It is going to be revived. Our church is going to see to that. And we're not the only ones that's doing anything in here. And when they come, this is what they need to see. They need to understand that they do have decent examples of what neighborhoods ought to be.
Mother Jones, I would tell you that because we've lost so many people in this neighborhood, the politicians tend to overlook this otherwise historic community.
I don't know that it's the politicians' fault at all. We do not talk to them. We don't ask them for anything. They do what they guess we want. We do not. Years ago, we knew how to use our political assets, but we don't do that anymore. We don't ask for anything, so we get nothing. If we were
We need to stop that. We're supposed to be smarter than we were.
We were smarter than that. See, we're too smart now to do the kind of things you're talking about.
That's what
When
you
we weren't
and
as
my
smart,
grandma raised me to do.
Well, when we weren't as, your grandmother and I was as smart as everybody today. So we knew how to do that.
Y'all had common sense. That's what you raised me on.
What is common sense? Wisdom. You can't get it anywhere.
But we got now more black elected officials than ever before.
But you don't think in color. You're supposed to think, you just said good sense. You're supposed to think what's best for your people. You don't have servant leaders anymore. See, you have
What's a servant leader? I know what it is, but for the record.
Well, a leader that serves, not somebody that just sits there because they like titles and because they like reputation.
But a lot of us keep voting for the same old ones over and over.
Because we do not develop leadership to serve the future. So when the future gets here, it's today, and you don't have anybody to pull the lever down for but the same people. Did you develop any leadership? No. That's why you don't have any. You're supposed to be developing leadership for the future all the time. There should be nothing in the churches, in the communities, or anywhere else where you're not taking your young people along with you. That's why we need some more Keenan Jeters. We are not taking our young people along with us, so we are not going to have a future. We're not going to have a future.
What's the shot of hope? What keeps us going? What keeps you going? Got to leave them with something positive.
There is no such thing as communities like ours dying. They will go down, down, down. But the spirit of leadership, the spirit of community, the spirit of conscience will get into people whether they realize it's happening to them or not, just like this. You have not seen what this area looked like in about 10 years. And we have a community organization here. It has been abandoned. The Department of Forestry should have come and cut those trees down and trimmed them and did whatever was supposed to be done to them. We do not know how to use resources anymore. We depend on other people to tell us how we're supposed to live.
We're supposed to be smarter.
The power is always with the common people. It's more of us than it is any other kind. And that's where the power is. Nobody says, not even the churches are doing their job. Nobody says now, let us get together and see what we can do for our community and for each other. And you're teaching as you go along. The next generation is supposed to be able to pick that up from you. We don't have any reason to have to do the kinds of things we do now. We don't. And so I've lived it.
You got a paintbrush in hand.
I have 55 years of community. This is my 55th year out here. I'm not tired, but you have got to have a heart for people. Don't say you love people and don't do it. The scripture tells you that. You have to really love people. If you do, the rest is easy.
Watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover